Okay, thank you, Ron, for being in Brazil. It's a great pleasure to have you here. It's an honor. We always wanted you to come, and it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
How do you see the foreign policy of the U.S. government today? We have developments going on in Ukraine, in Gaza, and we have the terrorist organizations. How do you see it moving forward, and what's your view on that?
Well, I'm complaining about our foreign policy all the time because I apply the principle of non-intervention to foreign policy just as I do in economics and non-intervention in our personal lives. And that means that Jefferson was on the right track. You stay out of entangling alliances, you know, and friendship and trade and friendship with. And one word that he said when he talked about it was honest friendship. So yes, you want anybody who's willing to be a friend should be a friend. And of course, during the presidential campaign, I added my own little personal phrase. You know, why can't we follow? You know, the pattern of do unto others as you'd have them do unto us.
The golden rule.
You use the golden rule, and there were a few people in the States that didn't like that. They want to be more aggressive. So I think we're way too aggressive. We're way too much involved. We create our own problems. And I thought for a while in recent months or in the last several years that the libertarians have been making progress, non-intervention, and getting tired of the wars and trying to tell the president to don't go into Syria and leave it alone. But now with some of this radicalism of ISIS, it seems like our defenses have just crumbled. You know, people respond emotionally. There's still the non-interventions out there, but it's getting, at the moment, it's getting harder for us to present our case because that makes it, you know, if you're not willing to go and expand the war or create, you know, a new war, then they consider that, you know, wimpish and un-American, not supporting the troops. But I think it's a very, very important issue. I talk a lot about monetary policy, but I talk a lot about the importance of our foreign policy too, because they're all related. You know, how do you pay for the wars? And I think it's pretty clear wars don't make us wealthy. So,
but I understand from what you're saying that you're a little bit pessimistic that it's moving on the wrong direction.
Yes, it seems like we were making progress, and right now we've had a setback, at least a public relations setback. And we've always had the difficulty that interventionism has been endorsed by the leaders of both the Republicans and the Democrat Party, as well as the conservative Republican TV stations and the Democrat liberal news station. They all come together and agree that, you know, we have to go. And of course, I disagree with that, and it's not like I didn't have a little experience. During the Vietnam era, I was in the military for 5 years, and it wasn't a happy time for our country.
How about the Fed, Ron? The Fed is now starting to talk about hiking interest rates next year. Can they be doing the right thing from now on? What do you think?
Well, they can't possibly do the right thing. They're incapable of it because there's no way in the world they know what the right thing is. How can, actually, we have 7 people on the board and we have one person runs it, so the chairman runs it. How can one man or one woman know what the interest rate should be or what the amount of money should be circulating? She can't know. No individual can know, and this pretense that they know when to change the interest rate is preposterous. It's anybody who understands the free market, they ought to be laughing out loud about the silliness of this notion that they know, well, July next year. That's when we're going to move. That's when we're going to really raise the interest rates. We're going to take it from -1 to put it +1 and save the world.
It looks as if since the state of the economy is so fragile, maybe if they move up to 1% is enough to tank the economy.
It's going to tank even without them doing it. Because eventually the people give up on it. I mean, the confidence in the currency will be lost one way or the other. If they jack up interest rates 1%, 2%, or 3%, it just crashes that much sooner. The analogy I use is the medical analogy. You know, if you have a drug addict, they know it's best to get off the drugs, but they also know they have severe side effects from the withdrawal symptoms. Politically, nobody's going to permit the withdrawal symptoms, and so they're going to keep doing this. And this is why this whole thing's been going on. What they won't recognize is that there's a zero amount of wealth created by just creating new pieces of paper and new dollars. It used to be, when things weren't quite so bad, that if you added debt and printed some money, there, at one time in a freer market, sometimes if you hit a dollar's worth of legitimate debt, you might get economic growth of $1. But now it's 10 times that much, and you get no growth. They pretend they are, but it's a real mess. And central economic planning through central banking is really the culprit, and it's more entangled now worldwide than it ever has before, because this is not just a problem with the United States. As a matter of fact, we get a free ride. We get to export our money to Brazil and
we
buy
send
stuff.
Coffee. We send airplanes. It's a good game.
Because now people in the States are complaining because we buy stuff from China. And of course, it's easy to dislike the Chinese. And they're coming and buying up our property. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. But where did they get the money? We were living beyond our means, and we printed the money in. And at that time, and I think less so now, I don't think the Chinese are accumulating, dollars like they were before.
Right. Ron, I thank you very much. Good luck on our conference speech.
Great.
Thank you for having you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.